What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hopefully y'all are having a great Monday morning, a great start to your week. I got you a morning update on what's going on with this winter storm, guys. This is certainly looking like it's going to verify in this crazy totals. Maybe 2 days ago, I was thinking in my head, there's no way this is going to verify. It's looking like it is. And even the National Weather Service is starting to honk their horn on this being a significant, big-time storm. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning, guys. And I'll give you, obviously, an evening update later today on the latest updated information. But if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Appreciate all the amazing support. Great way to stay up to date with the most quickest update information. Definitely hit me up on Twitter and Facebook, where I provide constant updates. At least I try to. But thank you all for this support, and I appreciate it. Let's get rolling here. And y'all guys got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below so I can definitely pray for you guys. It gives other people an opportunity to pray for you too. So let's get rolling. I'm going to take a look at what's going on here, and I'm not going to bore you with all the details because I know there's a lot of people who just want the cut and dry information. Let me know how much snow and ice I'm going to get, and I'm going to roll on out. But this is very important to know really what's going on here because it helps you understand why you're getting ice or why you're getting snow. So what's going on here is an Arctic air mass drops down. You can obviously tell where all the cold air is. This comes out of Canada, drops down to the lower 48, into the Midwest, the south central U.S. As we're getting into, if in any time in the video you're confused of what day we're at, look right here, and then I'll show you on these next panels too, because I do fail sometimes to consistently tell you which day it is. I'm trying to get better with that. That's part of this YouTube channel is constantly trying to make it's trying to get better, right? So I do apologize ahead of time if I miss a day or do not explain what day it is ahead of time. But this is the incredible part of this. You get into Wednesday afternoon, you got warm air right here riding up against this Arctic boundary. You can tell, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know where the Arctic boundary is right here. This continues to seep south as we're getting into Thursday morning, getting to Thursday afternoon, and pretty much throws 80% of Texas into the freezer, and then obviously sets the stage on what is an ongoing winter storm for the Ohio Valley, south central U.S. areas of the Midwest, and then gets into the Northeast. And then this continues to ooze southeast as Arctic air begins to slowly make its way to the southeast. So what's going on here is you had this big-time digging trough. You got energy shooting out the southwest, and you got an active jet setting up here across the middle of the country. So you see these bright colors. Well, I wouldn't say if you necessarily would call these bright colors, but the more vibrant colors in the middle of your screen right here. This is basically the energy at 250 millibars. So it's pretty much where the jet stream is. So it's basically where low pressures are going to ride. So where this kind of sets up here as we're getting into our Wednesday evening and then our Thursday, you got an active jet right here. So low pressures are going to ride this jet right into here, and that's what's going to happen with cold air funneling in with a big-time high pressure funneling in Arctic air. You have a ton of opportunities for moisture to ride up here along this, basically this jet stream to provide a lot of storm systems into this area that we're going to be talking about. So this is going to be moving through, and this will continue to set up for even areas of the Northeast. And then this has the opportunity to be cutters for the Southeast, which means we're not going to get any winter weather here in the Southeast, the Carolinas, and a lot of people are wondering about that. But this is because we've been talking about the Southeast so much in the Mid-Atlantic. This isn't going to be y'all's kind of setup. Let's look at the European and then the GFS, and then we're just going to focus on the European after that. And I really want to compare both of these in the South Central U.S. because there's some differences. So remember, if you're confused about what day we're at, and I know the OOZs doesn't make a lot of sense to people, and I'll try to explain that in the comments here after the video, but just look at the day, right? So we're going to back this up. This is around Wednesday afternoon. You already got light snow breaking out in areas of Kansas, getting into Oklahoma. You got a wintry mix breaking out in Oklahoma City. You got just plain old rain in Texas, and you got some snow breaking out in the panhandle of Texas. And then wintry weather already cranking up, and we'll focus on these states here in a second, like Missouri and Indiana and Illinois. But you got this first wave of moisture that comes up and kind of flirts with this Arctic air, right? So that moves through, and it just is hours and hours on end, and almost to the point where you can say days from Missouri points east. But as the cold air begins to ooze south, we're getting into overnight Wednesday into Thursday. You have an ice storm pretty much cranking up for areas of southern Oklahoma, especially southeast Oklahoma. This will continue to move south into North Texas. And then you have freezing rain breaking out Thursday morning for areas like Dallas-Fort Worth area. But at the same time, look over here in northern Arkansas. You have a lot of freezing rain showing up in northern Arkansas, the Ozarks, the Quad States areas, into southeast Missouri. As that first wave kind of gets on out of there, you're still having enough moisture to keep this storm going with ongoing winter frozen precipitation. So you have freezing rain breaking out here into southern Illinois, southeast Missouri at the same time. This is for Thursday morning. You have wintry weather still in North Texas, but what I'm noticing with this area is the European and the GFS do not agree with how much moisture it is to work with in North Texas. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. And as we jump into the GFS, actually, I can show you now. We're getting into Wednesday morning. Here it is. That's that first wave, right? The second wave will form as a low pressure develops and starts to ride this Arctic boundary. What happens here as we're getting into Wednesday evening, you already have freezing rain starting to get into areas of North Texas. It's a sleet storm in Oklahoma City, and then it switches to snow. And then you have much more moisture further south into Texas. So you got freezing rain breaking out into Dallas early Thursday morning, and then it turns to a sleet storm. And then you got freezing rain getting even more further southeast in Dallas. So any cities and towns southeast of Dallas, y'all could definitely get frozen precipitation, especially if something like the GFS ends up happening. And this turns into a bunch of sleet for Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way down the Austin area, maybe even San Antonio, a wintry mix breaking out as you're getting into late Thursday morning into your Thursday afternoon. And then it pulls out. But, look at Arkansas. You got much more frozen precipitation further south than the GFS, which is kind of different because the European was showing it further south before. You got an all-out ice storm in Little Rock. You got sleet in the Ozarks. You even got freezing rain showing up in the Quad States, even in northwest Tennessee. As you're getting into Thursday morning, you got a lot of snow. Obviously up here, we're going to talk about you guys in the Ohio Valley. Just stick with me here. But this pulls on out, but, it even shows it ending at some freezing rain in northwest Mississippi. And I'll be interested to see what happens. Going forward here, we'll look at the Euro as far as snowfall totals from the European, right? Not a crazy event for you folks in Kansas, and nothing unheard of, especially that freak 2 feet of snow y'all got in parts of Kansas a couple weeks ago. That was wild. But the Panhandle of Texas, if you're looking at the European, Amarillo, I had somebody diss on the way I said it. However y'all say it, y'all know what I mean out there. Maybe a few inches of snow from the European, and then you get areas southeast of the Panhandle of Texas, maybe a couple inches of snow, but I really think there could be more so sleet and freezing rain as you get into these areas. And then Missouri, clobbered. Columbia, Missouri could really be the epicenter for a big-time winter storm. I'm talking about maybe over a foot of snow, even some ice. And, St. Louis, I've had a lot of people ask about that, guys, but, y'all are going to get wintry weather. Is it going to be all snow? I don't think so, no. But y'all are going to get a lot of snow. Kansas City, y'all are going to get a lot of snow. But, it really gets bad for areas around Kansas City, for example, points east and things like that. So you look at freezing rain totals from the Euro, still, oh, God, here we go. It's trying to switch to the 06Z, which is running right now, which will bring us more data, but we're still definitely on OOZ. So you're looking at the latest Euro for freezing rain. I'm still watching southeast Oklahoma. It's consistently shown a nasty ice storm for this area. And then northern Arkansas has also been a big hit with this ice showing up throughout this entire storm. And southeast Missouri into southern Illinois and then Indiana. And then I don't know about this ice showing up near Houston. That's kind of weird, but who knows. I think that's actually past this storm. But, a quarter-inch of ice showing up in Dallas-Fort Worth, mixed in with sleet and a little bit of snow, that's going to wreak havoc, right? So we look at the European for the Ohio Valley, and let's get rolling here. So we're getting into Tuesday afternoon, but you're getting into, it was Tuesday morning. Now we're getting to Tuesday afternoon. Here comes the Arctic air funneling south, and then this is the first push of moisture as you're getting into, late in the evening. Tuesday evening, you already got snow breaking out in Chicago. You got snow breaking out in Missouri, basically central Illinois, but at the same time, just south of that heaviest snow, for example, in St. Louis and places like that, you have freezing rain breaking out as you're getting into late Tuesday night into the early morning hours of Wednesday. Then you're getting into Wednesday morning. That freezing rain switches to snow, for example. For St. Louis, but you still got this nasty freezing rain showing up in central and south central Missouri, and then just all out snow for areas of central Indiana and Illinois. I'm sorry, I meant to say central Illinois. I'm sorry, guys. There's just so many states to cover. So many states to cover. These videos are going to get longer and longer as we get deeper into the week. But you got snow breaking out Wednesday morning for southern areas of Michigan and then northern areas of Indiana. As we're rolling forward here, the Arctic air kind of not stalls, but it kind of slows its progression southeast. So therefore, you'll eventually turn to snow for areas of Cleveland as you're getting into later Wednesday. But look at this continuous feed of moisture. Even though I think the moisture will lighten up as this first system gets kind of almost sheared out in a way, I still think you'll get consistent moisture funneling in as you're getting into Missouri, as you're getting into Illinois, as you're getting into Indiana, Ohio. I don't think it ever stops, and then you get basically the secondary low that pops off here and enhances the moisture, and this will be much heavier frozen precipitation showing up here. That's when the ice storm cranks up for southeastern Missouri, I really think, but just north and central Missouri, that's where you could get over a foot of snow, and this is getting into Thursday morning. And then you got ice in southern Illinois. I know you are hating that there. And then you got ice in central Indiana, but I really think that this will potentially change to maybe sleet and heavy snow for these areas. And then, we're getting into Thursday afternoon. Granted, at this time, right, I'm going to stop the frame here. This is Thursday afternoon, right? I'm going to back it all the way up to right here. This is Wednesday morning. So this is maybe 24 to 36 hours of constant frozen precipitation for the Ohio Valley. This is going to be a nasty ice storm in here. It is, guys. It really is. And I'm really worried about these areas. This ice potentially starts to kind of ooze into Kentucky as Arctic air continues to funnel in here. And then you got an all-out ice storm going on in central Ohio, but it's snowing like crazy in northern Ohio, maybe Cleveland. And then you're getting into Pennsylvania and places like that. And, places like Pittsburgh is kind of a weird area where you could start as rain, go to ice, and maybe briefly into some light snow as you're getting into Friday morning. But watch out, West Virginia. It could be mostly rain and then quickly change to ice and then maybe some sleet and snow as you're getting into Friday morning. But, man, there is just a mouthful to talk about here, guys. There really is. And that's why I keep missing telling you what time frames we're sitting at and things like that. But potential snowfall totals from the European model showing up here, well over a foot of snow is possible basically from central Missouri through central Illinois to basically north central to northern Indiana to northern Ohio to southern Michigan up into areas of Canada and then getting into areas of New York State, including Buffalo, which I'll show you here in a second. But look at these freezing rain totals showing up here. And let me get this off the 06Z because that is running right now. Look at these freezing rain showing up for this area. I mean, that's a crippling ice storm for millions, stretching all the way from obviously Oklahoma, which we just mentioned, northern Arkansas, southern Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, areas of Kentucky. I would say about 70% of Ohio, areas of Pennsylvania, and then getting into West Virginia. This looks like a bad ice storm. Remember, once you start to get, I would say, above a quarter inch of ice, you start to have issues. Maybe not on the roads. Once you start getting kind of, to a half inch of ice, that means that the roads start to get really dangerous, especially if the temperatures are, I'll always say, around 30 degrees or lower. And that's when you start to get big time road conditions where it's actually freezing on the concrete. So, once you get over a half an inch, then you have the snapping of trees where it sounds like a war zone out in the woods. We've had that here in the Carolinas before, but this is this part that might not get talked about as much, but it's probably the most dangerous part of the storm. Let's talk about the Northeast really quick. We're getting to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, and then we're getting into Thursday morning. This is Thursday morning, right? We have snow breaking out, and this is from the first wave. Snow breaking out from the interior areas of New York State, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and then here comes that secondary low pressure that really amps up the moisture. You got an ice storm going on in areas of the interior Northeast that normally see snow, but this is going to be ice and sleet for areas. It just depends on where you are. This is kind of a situation where you need to know where you are on the map. But I think areas of the interior Northeast are actually going to see an ice storm, and then areas in the northern interior Northeast, if that makes any sense, like northwest areas of New York State, areas into northern Vermont and New Hampshire, and then Maine is going to get well over a foot of snow in areas. But there's going to be an opportunity for this to end as ice, even for the bigger cities like New York City and Boston. So we got to watch that. And this will be basically a time frame going from Thursday morning all the way to Friday morning, getting into and ending Friday evening, and getting on off the coast after that. So we take a look at snowfall totals for these areas, right? So nothing's really changed from last night's video for these areas. I mean, there's going to be a sharp cutoff between ice and heavy, heavy snow. Talking about Buffalo, New York could see well over a foot of snow. And then all these towns to its west and I meant to its east and northeast, northern halves of New Hampshire, Vermont, and then a large chunk of Maine is going to see heavy, heavy snow. It's showing Erie, Pennsylvania getting getting a foot and a half of snow. Cleveland getting a foot and a half of snow. It's going to be dangerous, but then you look at the ice, even for these areas. I'm going to have to switch this panel here. You look at the ice, even for these areas. I mean, heavy ice. I mean, these areas don't see a lot of ice like this, but ice stretching all the way to the coastal areas of Maine, and then you got well over a half an inch ice total showing up, which could be overdone in these areas, but you never know. So I'll end up with this. This is the National Blend of Models. And it's honking its horn at over a foot of snow for areas of Missouri, into Illinois, into Indiana. And then obviously you get a little better look at the Ohio Valley. This is a big deal, folks, this snow. It really is. I'll be honest, maybe a couple days ago I was thinking there's no way these totals are going to verify. Well, it's looking like they are. And this heavier snow could easily get into Chicago. But this is the blend of models. I feel like this is a very responsible thing to use, if you will. So it's already honking its horn there. But the ice totals are not near as significant showing up here as some of these other models are showing. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all all the support. Y'all stay safe, and I'll have you an update this evening. God bless.